Before we start the episode, it's that time of month, ladies and gentlemen. It is the time to thank our lovely and wonderful patrons. Nope, Patreons. Patrons?
No, they're
called.
they're the patrons.
They're the patrons. Yeah, they're all robots. Are we keeping this take?
And there are patrons through Patreon. I think we should keep this take. Keep it going, man.
No, don't do this to me. Okay, fine. Okay. The people that paid a lot of money for me to say their names are Rachel DeLisio, John DeLisio, and especially Samuel Copeland. So thank you to the best Socratic cinema family, the DeLisios. You're winning that award right now. The
Thanks.
Heatherleys and Clarks are far behind, very, very behind. But Samuel Copeland, you're my boy. You're my homie. I would die for you. Ride or die. That's with me, man.
And thanks to all our other wonderful patrons as well.
Patrons.
Thanks, you guys.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Love you lots. Enjoy the episode about Princess Mononoke. Enjoy.
Dun, dun, dun.
This week on the Socratic Cinema Podcast. His demon powers are just having really strong arrows. I wanted the full-on Venom tentacle whip.
Okay, here's the thing I realized about Sod's wolf cloak. She had to, kill her brother to be able to wear that.
That's what the L in LGBT stands for, as leopard. Salutations from the Socratic Cinema Podcast, a month and a half in the past. It's it's January 3rd right now while we're recording this episode, and you may not see this for months. So, to you, 2,000 years from now, have fun with this one. Today, though, we are talking about another, as we coined the term in a landmark Supreme Court case last time, Ghiblinity Stone.
Yeah.
We are on a journey to collect all of the Ghiblinity Stones. For those who don't know or are late to the game here, a Ghiblinity Stone is just when we review a Studio Ghibli movie and we're collecting them like the Infinity Stones, So we did Spirited Away way back in 2019. We did My Neighbor Totoro way back in 2020. And now we are coming at you live with the third of the Ghiblinity Stones. That's right. Using our HBO Max subscription that we were forced to get for the terrible movie Wonder Woman 84, we are talking about Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
Woo! Now Mononoke is a little bit of a different Studio Ghibli movie. It's a lot more intense. It's a lot more mature. And I think it's very interesting, kind of contrasting with the other ones. It was released in 1997. So this is pre-Disney Ghibli, So we still have that crisp, beautiful hand-drawn animation. We still have, all the classic Ghibli charm before, things changed a little bit when Disney got it. There's a clear difference between something like, the later ones and the older ones. But anyways, yeah, we're talking about Princess Mononoke, guys. Get buckle up, because this is a fun film that I really, really liked. So without further ado, I will pass it off to my co-host, Charlie, to give us his initial impressions of Princess Mononoke.
Oh my God. Okay, before we get into it, I just want to get a quick poll. Who watched the sub and who watched the dub?
I had no choice but to watch the dub on HBO.
I watched dub.
I watched the sub.
Where did you find the sub?
Yeah, where the hell did you find that?
On an anime site?
Wait,
She pirated it.
How did you watch? Hold on. Why did you not just use HBO?
I would have had to take over the TV for a long period of time, and I was like, instead of doing that, I just
Yeah, I was gonna say we all have it because we all had to buy it.
We all had to do Wonder Woman.
We all had to do it, but okay. So you watched the sub. Maybe you can give some insight. I really liked the dub, honestly. It was a little wonky sometimes, but overall, I really liked the dub, especially the two leads. I thought were great. But
I entirely agree. I think that every voice actor in the dub, honestly, although there were some weird pauses, I was like, why are they lingering on this pause for so long if it's a normal conversation? Besides that, lots of great voice acting. I think that all the emotions got across that they needed. I think that there wasn't a character that I was like, oh, that's so annoying or that doesn't fit them. every character felt pretty natural within the dub, which is not something that you get for every anime. It's really hit or miss a lot of the times. And I think that this time was certainly a hit. But besides the whole sub versus dub controversy, which we can go into detail about, Princess Mononoke, my favorite Studio Ghibli movie by far. It is so insanely good, and it's so insanely different than everything they did. I mean, James, said it, but this movie sort of twists the way that Studio Ghibli talks about nature and the relationship that humans have with it, and makes it more antagonistic, focuses on the negative elements, which I didn't think I was going to love as much, but Studio Ghibli and Hayao Miyazaki are just so good. I've also changed my pronunciation of Ghibli and Ghibli like 5 times in that sentence. I don't care. But they're so good, and I think that even with switching their central focus on how they tell a story, switching it from positivity to negativity, they nailed it. I think all the characters were great. The world is phenomenal. It is the easiest 10 out of 10 that I've ever given for a movie. Like, masterpiece level.
Hooga budgie hooga bow.
Ooh.
Dang. All right, Kasey, go ahead.
Yeah, I completely agree with Charlie on everything that he was saying. I really, really enjoyed watching this. As James and Charlie had mentioned, like, this is not the quintessential like Ghibli film that we're used to watching. Like, we're used to watching like the yes, spirits, fun colors, like the happiness, the all that like good stuff. But Mononoke is like, no, we're doing decapitations, we have evil spirits, we have blood gushing everywhere. And I was living, surprisingly, but I was having such like a good time. And it's honestly like I feel like y'all are gonna get tired of us saying, oh yeah, Ghibli is beautiful. But it really is. Like, every single scene is just breathtaking. Like, how it's especially like the landscape scenes. Like, oh yes, giving me everything that I needed. To stray again from the usual like bright colors that we're used to seeing from Ghibli. Like, we get a lot of like mucky browns and grays and greens, and it's not like bright and colorful all the time. Like, I think the darkest movie lighting wise that I've seen of Ghibli is Spirited Away, with all the like bath house scenes. But even then, those are like incredibly, incredibly bright. But I just found that really, really interesting, how like it was super dark and like gritty, and we have like all this like violence, and the chemistry between the two leads. It does take a while to Princess Mononoke. Um,
True.
but you didn't even feel it. Like, I didn't really feel it watching it. Like, I was so invested in Ashitaka.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Ashitaka's like story and his journey, that I didn't even notice that, like, oh, when is she gonna come in
Yeah.
and do her thing? And when she did, like, that was one of like the greatest scenes, or one of the greatest scenes in the movie, where she's just running through the ironworks. But yeah, I'll throw that over to James for his opinion.
Y'all are so correct. So I really liked Princess Mononoke as well. I came off of some other people I know who watched this movie and did not like it as much. So I was a little bit unsure of what to expect going in. But for me, Princess Mononoke takes everything that I like about Ghibli, right? The sort of Miyazaki's creativity and his world building skills, and this aesthetic and the soundtrack and everything. And he puts it into a film that's much more plot driven and kind of traditionally dramatic, whereas most of his other films that we've talked about, especially Totoro, the last one we talked about, are much less plot focused. They're more just about giving an impression or a feeling, was kind of our big takeaway. Now, Princess Mononoke takes all that lovely impressionism and things like that, and adds a really, what I think is a really great dramatic plot on top of it. And for me especially, it's just kind of a what's not to like scenario. It's very epic. It's very high fantasy. It's a classic hero's journey as well. I think Prince Ashitaka is a wonderful protagonist. He's probably my favorite Ghibli protagonist as well. He's just has a very fun arc, and I really like the sort of dynamic of this guy who's like trying to play both sides of this conflict that's way bigger than him, and reconcile these two opposite forces, being man and nature, while also grappling with his own little curse subplot thing. I just thought it was wonderful. Like Kasey was saying, the chemistry between San and Ashitaka is great. I want to talk about the title of this film because I'm a bit confused. I think that's something we should talk about. But there's just a lot of iconic scenes, like the scene between Ashitaka and San where she's like is pressing the knife against his throat and he's like, "You're beautiful." That is that I've seen that scene before,
Yes.
but woo, there's just stuff. There's so much good character interaction here. I think these are some of the most fleshed out Ghibli characters we've gotten to. Overall, I highly recommend it. I have maybe like some small gripes in the pacing department, and I also think towards the third act the plot just becomes like a little too convoluted, just like maybe a little too over the top for its own good. I started to lose some focus or clarity, I guess, on what exactly was going on towards the end. But I think aside from that, I think it's like a really, really strong 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, James. No, I feel you. There's lots of little details that I don't think are as fleshed out as they should be. Like, I struggle to remember what the point of the obsidian necklace was, like that little knife thing. It just seemed like she sort of had it. Did that like come back in a major way?
Like the gem necklace thing?
Yeah, the gem necklace.
That
thing.
was
Did
just
Oh,
a
from
gift
the sister?
Yeah, that
Well-
was a gift from Ashitaka, wasn't it?
Yeah, but like, what was the huge point of it? Because it felt like a big Chekhov's thing. Like, oh, the knife's gonna come back. And then when she was wearing it in some of the scenes, there was a very distinct hum going on with it. Did it do anything?
No, I think that was just like
No.
so she would remember him because he thought he was never going to see her again.
Didn't she also like stab him with it?
Wait,
Did
I
she?
think
Like-
we're talking about different things.
It's a small obsidian knife necklace that she wears
Yeah.
around her neck.
Oh, I was thinking of that little blue gem necklace that he gave her.
Those are the same
I think it's the
thing,
same
right?
thing. Yeah, yeah.
It
No,
is? Oh.
yeah, it's like a black
Yeah.
obsidian.
Oh, I never
It just
noticed that.
shines blue.
Huh.
But-
No, I think that was just a memento.
Okay, sure. Yeah, no, I can see that.
No,
It
yeah, that's
just-
it. I think I don't know.
It just feels like it was shaped like a knife. It had, stabbing capabilities. It felt like it was going to come back, and then it sort of just faded away into the distance.
Yeah,
So, I was disappointed there, but you said a really interesting thing was that this movie has some of the most fleshed out Ghibli characters ever. Like the side characters in this movie, I feel, are very alive, and I understand all of their individual motivations and personalities. Weirdly enough, there are tons of people online who would say the exact opposite, which is
Huh.
that they didn't feel like they understood the motivations. I don't. Where are they getting that?
I'm, okay. I'm a little tempted to. I see what they're saying. The guys online. There's a lot of like factions in this movie to keep track of, and there's a lot of like background conflict that if you're not paying attention to it's really confusing why anything in the third act is happening, right? Because you have the Wolf tribe is doing their own thing, the Boar tribe is doing their own thing, Irontown has their own motivation. There's
Irontown.
Jigo and the monks have their own motivation, and there's this background war going on with the samurai that you sort of have to just kind of try and remember. There's a lot going on here, and I think it can be hard to remember each of their motivations and why they're doing the things they do. Because, the third act is basically all of this tension between all these factions coming to a head, and there's alliances are being made and broken. And I can see it being hard to remember. I had to pause for a second and I wrote down a list of all the factions, trying to like keep track of, okay, these people want this, right? Jigo is trying to hunt and kill the forest spirit. Irontown is also trying to kill the forest spirit, but for a different reason. They just want more iron. The boars are trying to protect the forest. The wolves are kind of doing their own thing, right? There's a lot, and the samurai are just fighting Irontown on their own for who knows why, right? Normal war.
I think for iron.
Yeah, no, it's 4 iron, and then don't forget the apes, the tree planters.
And
They're
then
there
there's
too.
The apes are, yeah. See, there's
Oh,
this is
jeez.
some
So
Hobbit
many.
Battle of the Five Armies. Like it's a lot. And I just feel like the third act can be a little hectic, especially when things kind of go off the rails and the Nightwalker comes out and starts wrecking everyone, and it's just like, I have no clue what's going on anymore. So I get that, but I think like if you can keep the faction straight or you can learn to just not care and just enjoy it, I think it's great. You know,
If you
Pay-
can
I-
get out of your own head.
yeah, either
Yeah.
pay so much attention that you pause every 5 minutes or just kind of let it unfold because it's a plot I really had to think about to make work because it's very meandery. It for the first like hour it just kind of feels like we're going where the wind takes us, but then at the end it's kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot about these apes that showed up for 5 minutes and these samurai we saw fighting in the background, you know? It's very subtle background storytelling, which I like. I like when the background is important, you know?
I remember the samurai because they got their heads blown off.
Oh my gosh,
this
that was
Studio Ghibli movie.
Arms.
Okay, Ashitaka's like demon power up mode is the coolest thing ever. And the bullets
Right?
like glitter as they go out, and it's just like
It's so good.
it's so cool. I was
Okay.
Go ahead.
Here, so there was one thought that I was just, my head kept having it when I was watching this movie. And it's that Princess Mononoke would make the best video game of all time.
I was thinking the same thing. It is literally like it's like Breath of the Wild. It feels like Breath of the Wild.
But it's so much better than Breath of the Wild because you
It's-
play as
Yeah.
a supernaturally souped up murder archer who goes around a beautiful forest, can like make alliances with anybody he wants, rides on a goddamn red gazelle deer elk thing, right? Like you have mounts, you have weapons, you have factions, you have
Yeah, dude.
exploration.
It's
Like,
like yeah,
I
like,
loved the movie because it was so naturally something that I would just want to play and like sink my teeth into as a world.
I completely agree. I was like, all right, Breath of the Wild with a dash of Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, with a hint of Ghost of Tsushima.
Yep.
Dude.
Yeah. Actually, there's a fun fact courtesy of IMDb that says that many actually speculate that Nintendo's game Breath of the Wild was greatly inspired from like the film. And it's like
Ah.
the first 10 minutes of the
Oh.
movie, Ashitaka's wearing uh clothes that resemble both the color palette of Link's tunic, and he has a sword and also uses a bow and arrow as his main weapons, which are also the weapons Link uses in the game and the previous one.
Yeah.
And then the wooden observatory tower, which is destroyed by the wild demon, it closely resembles a similar wooden tower with a ladder overlooking the land of Hyrule.
True. Yeah. Because
What?
Breath of the Wild, yeah, he wears blue in that game, and Ashitaka wears blue. Totally. I totally buy it. That's so cool. I was thinking to myself, the Kodama, the wood spirits in they
You're
look
right.
like the Koroks in Zelda.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's totally safe to say that there was some inspiration here. That's really cool though. Yeah. Huh, I never I was thinking about that, but I didn't think about it that deep.
Oh my god, and like all the animal spirits too that you're collecting in Breath of the Wild, like the big animal guys
Oh,
who's
the divine beast.
ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still want a pure Princess Mononoke video game though.
I would
I'd play
totally
that.
play that. Yeah.
I think
Like-
everyone would.
Yeah. Speaking of the intro though, what a way to open up a movie. Like the first 20 minutes of this
Yeah.
film, like
Oh yeah.
in an instant, you get action, you get stunning visuals, great soundtrack, you figure out what you got to do. All right. Ashitaka's cursed. There's demons in the forest. Go and fix this problem. See eyes unclouded by hate. That's such a cool line. Eyes
That really
unclouded by
there's
I
so
know.
many cool lines.
And yeah, go and
Mhm.
don't be hateful and figure out how to stop your curse. And it's just like, great, cool, we're off. Lord of the Rings style. Like the landscape shots reminded me so much of Lord of the Rings. Like these huge macro shots of just the land, and there's this little tiny dot, and it's Ashitaka like riding down slowly. It's very Lord of the Rings.
Mhm. No, totally. Like one of my favorite shots came, I think it was we might be thinking of the same shot where he's in this field where the grass is really tall and the
Oh,
wind
yeah.
is waving gently over it. That it stuck in my mind because they lingered on that for like 15, 20 seconds. And I was like, yep, this is a Studio Ghibli movie. I absolutely love it. This movie just does such a great job with nature. Like, it's really the mission statement of Studio Ghibli to portray life and nature in the most beautiful way possible. And I think this movie does that perfectly. And when the movie starts to talk about how humanity's corrupting nature as well, and when we get to the very end, when the, tainted forest spirit, I guess you would call it that, starts like decaying everything, you can really feel like the life drain out of the frame when you start seeing those very muddled rustic browns and reds come on screen. Like, I felt deflated when I was seeing that. And just that command over color is something that is so indicative of their style, number one, and number two, does such a great job to sort of drive home the central, I don't even know what to call it, the central fight of the movie, even beyond what the characters and factions are doing. Because this is really a movie where it's nature versus hatred. But the interesting thing is that on both sides of the war, where you get the humans and, the forest spirits or whatever, there's hatred on both sides.
Right.
So Ashitaka's whole thing is, I'm going to come in here, eyes unclouded. Y'all are hating, so I'm going to hate your hate, and y'all better stop fighting. Which he eventually does, which was really, really cool.
We interrupt this special program with some breaking news. Samuel Copeland coming in hot and steaming with a Patreon question. He asks, just going to ask how the group got together and met one another. Thanks so much. So group, how did we get together?
And meet one another.
That is very true.
Well, I just want to start by saying thank you so much for the question, Samuel Copeland, and to all you dear listeners at home. If you want to ask us a question to be featured in our famous patron Q&A segment, all you got to do is go to patreon.com/Socratic and become a patron. It's really easy. You can do it in a couple of clicks. But how did we got together and met one another? I don't know.
You've completely forgotten and tried to deflect the question. It's okay, James. It's fine. I remember us. Okay. Sorry, it is 11 right now, and I have not had my morning cup of water, so my voice is going to be very hoarse. But should we tackle met one another? I feel like that's probably chronologically the best idea, right?
Yeah. Do we all tell like our individual parts of the story?
Sure. I mean, I can go first. I met both of you in separate cases. I met James through our friend Matthias. And I think one time we were just sort of hanging out in a math classroom, and I met James, and it's like I was seeing myself in the mirror because it was absolutely crazy. We're so similar. We're so alike. And it was just love at first sight, really. And now we're a happily married couple. And after that brief lunch encounter, our friendship evolved, and now we're really close, and we have a podcast together.
And then we met this other dude. We met this other chick, Kasey, somewhere in there.
Yeah, no,
somewhere
she was there.
along the line.
I don't know. We picked her up. I honestly forget.
Yeah, on the side of the road.
Which way were you? She was hitchhiking.
I was hitchhiking.
No, not devil all the time, man. That episode was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man. Hopefully not.
Oh no, Kasey. Oh, not the robots. They got her. They got her.
She's turning into T-Pain. Oh god.
She's a Dalek.
I am the patron.
She is the patron. But I met Kasey through our AP Euro class. And I guess before that, technically we did English class freshman year, but we sat next to each other in AP Euro, and I tormented her all year by being sly and snide. And then one day we were watching the movie Dunkirk, and actually, I'll let Kasey tell this part because I do not remember it the same way that she does.
Okay. So we were watching the movie Dunkirk, and I was incredibly confused, right? I'd never seen it before, and I was like, wow, this is a lot of not talking. And I don't know what's going on. So I was, leaning over to Charlie because I was assuming, Charlie, smart, big brain. I was like, Charlie, what's going on? And then we just started talking about this movie, and our long-term sub at the time was like, you know what? You guys should make a podcast. And we're like, oh, yeah, I mean, I guess. And then I was like, okay, that's pretty fun. So that's how that kind of situation went down with Charlie. I think I officially met James in a math class, not freshman year, sophomore year in host class. We didn't sit
Yeah,
next to
yeah.
each other, but yeah.
Yeah, we never really like talked until the podcast was like a thing.
Yeah.
Right. I don't remember us being super close. My side of the story, I mean, so I didn't really meet Kasey until the podcast was decided that it would happen. But like Charlie said, we had a meet cute, and then we would talk about movies all the time during lunch, just like hanging out like chums do, and we would talk about movies. And I was like, I've always wanted to write video essays. But just talking's a lot easier than making videos. So Charlie, we should start a movie podcast. And then he said to me, wouldn't you know it, my other delightful film friends also want to start a podcast. Why don't we all do it together? And I said, yeah, that sounds lovely. They seem like great people. We should watch Aladdin as our debut movie. I think that'd be really good.
What a good choice.
Then
Brilliant choice.
It really was. And next thing you know, we were huddled around Charlie's Blue Yeti in his basement. And
Forgot that's how we did it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We were
Two
such-
people to a couch.
oh, it was so bad.
Jesus.
And the rest is history. I still cringe whenever someone tells me they listened to any of our episodes that came out prior to like 2021.
Prior to 2021,
Prior
really?
to-
You're
prior
screw
to
us
the
over
last-
with-
Man.
just anything older than the last episode that came out, I try not to think about. But that's how we met, and the rest is history. And we've revamped our logo, and lots changed. But so overall, that's how we met, and the rest was history. The end.
Dun, dun, dun.
Da, da, da. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
It's the classic kind of like super pure prince grappling with this hateful curse, right? Bridge between two worlds, yada yada yada.
Classic. Yeah.
Because he kind of is the bridge, right? He has the forest spirit demon curse, and he's also human, right? Great, love it, super cool, awesome outfit. Does he have a flaw? Like, is there anything wrong with Ashitaka?
Here, Kasey, you go ahead.
No, I don't even know if this is like a flaw, but maybe it's his like connect. It's like maybe it's his ability to like no matter what he's gonna like try to protect sand, but even that's like not all the way true.
Yeah, because like he's just like chilling with Irontown for a while, and he's like, "Nah, I've got this. I'm gonna go find Lady Eboshi." I mean, he's like, maybe his quote unquote flaw is just the fact that he has the curse. I don't know. That's a pretty lame
Dang.
That's pretty lame,
Yeah.
but it's okay. I mean, because really he's like super heroic, super strong, is like this pacifist who has compassion for all sides and like risks his life to save those Irontown dudes. It's like, what's not to love about this guy? He's the best. He's the coolest.
I guess so, and I completely agree. I think if we have to pick out a flaw, it's that he doesn't achieve his goal. Like, his whole thing is trying to bring sort of a peaceful balance to everything. He wants humans and nature to coexist. But he fails at that. He lets Lady Eboshi, like, shoot the head off of the forest spirit. He lets this humongous war happen, and then when people are dying on both sides, he doesn't really seem to do much to stop the fighting. Like, he only succeeds after everything has gone wrong, and he just returns the head to, like, the, mysterious evil forest spirit's body, and then it dies. Like, humanity won in that fight. And
You're right.
And all he did was, like, save his girlfriend. Like, his flaw is probably his love for Princess Mononoke. He's a bit selfish.
Okay,
Right.
wait. You brought something up here that I want to talk about. Let's talk about the title of the movie, because her name is San, right? Wolf Girl her name is San.
Yeah.
And they mentioned Princess Mononoke. They were like, the wolf stole Princess Mononoke's spirit. Is San also Princess Mononoke? I'm just
I think so, yeah.
But is that ever like made
It's never like
clear.
confirmed. You know what? I got this like little I don't know if it's because she's like girl hairstyle or whatever, but when in the scenes where her and Ashitaka are together, I was like, they have the same haircut. And that kind of like brought me to believe, or like the theory that maybe she was like going on the theory that she is Princess Mononoke, and then
Mhm.
something happened to her where she like cut her hair in a way where it like might look like, you know, the post dishonor bun cut.
Oh.
I was like, oh,
Mhm.
but then they never really come
Oh,
back
like she came
to
from
it.
some sort of nobility and she's got the dishonor cut now too and blah blah blah.
Well,
Yeah.
they say how she got to the wolf people. She was dropped off after two people were wandering in the forest and the wolves took her in. And the reason she's princess is because she's princess of the wolf gods.
Right. Okay. I am.
Oh.
I'm googling it right now. Uh, she is Princess Mononoke. It's a son also known as Princess Mononoke. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, what does Mononoke mean?
Oh,
He.
hold on. It's on IMDb.
Yeah. I'm reading it. That's what this. I'm reading this website out loud. Mononoke means the spirit of a thing. Basically, the Japanese blame Mononoke for every unexplainable thing, from a major natural
Dang.
disaster to a minor headache. A Mononoke could be the spirit of an inanimate object, such as a wheel, the spirit of a dead person, the spirit of a live person, the spirit of an animal, ghost, a spirit of nature. Totoro is a Mononoke. A Mononoke is a monster slash ghost slash spirit. So she's the spirit princess. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
Cool. That was a super
Well-
roundabout way of saying spirit. Like, why did they?
right.
I guess it's super nuanced, but then they abandoned all the nuance and were like monster spirit. Yeah.
True. True. Yeah, but why is it called Princess Mononoke? Is the film really about her?
I think she's the iconic, like, there's always something iconic in Ghibli, right? In Totoro, it's Totoro. In Spirited Away, it's No Face. I think she's just like this movie's icon. And she is pretty important. I think she's really cool too. Like,
It is really cool, yeah.
that
Yeah.
year, the scene of her storming Irontown and just like zip zap zopping all those guards is my favorite scene of the movie because it's so slickly animated and it's just so good. It's just so good. I'm gonna say this though. I have one big complaint about this movie, about Prince Ashitaka. And that is that he never got cool tentacle venom demon arm powers.
Yes.
Was okay. 'cause
Agree.
The whole movie, he's got the mark on his arm. Every time he gets rip raring to go, it like starts going jelly mode and like freaking out, and he has to like dip it underwater and get it in control. I was like, dude, I cannot wait for this to boil over the edge and Ashitaka to go ham and use his tentacle demon powers. Cause that's what, like, his arm is flailing like it's about to burst, right? It's like,
Yeah.
dude, he's gonna get venom powers for sure. And then even in the Irontown, he gets the purple, like purpley black demon tentacle things wrap around his arm and
That
stuff.
was so cool.
And he uses it to like bend the blade back and stuff.
So cool.
And it
yeah.
like grabs onto something. And I was like, oh, yes, it's time for venom powers. And then he never does it again. His demon powers are just having really strong arrows. I wanted the full-on venom tentacle whip. And I'm really disappointed that we never got that. I don't think it would have like cheapened the movie. I don't think it would have been too much for this movie. I mean, I think it would have fit, honestly. Like I it's a personal thing, but what can I say?
I entirely agree. I think the reason they didn't have it is because the tentacles only come out when he is doing something that requires hatred or passion. So, specifically when he's fighting, when he's shooting an arrow, that's when it comes out. When he's trying to get through to Princess Mononoke, he bends the blade because he's very determined and passionate about getting to her. When he's grabbing onto both Mononoke and Aboshi, right? He wants to keep them still. There's not really a moment after that where his passion boils over the edge, but I would like to have seen it. I guess it's sort of contradictory to the whole sea with unclouded eyes thing. I don't know. I think they could have fleshed out the sort of internal struggle between passion and, this sort of stoic calm a bit better. I agree with you, but the rules stayed consistent enough for me, where I was like, yeah, I
Yeah,
guess it's
and
happening
it's
correctly.
interesting that you point out that he only gets his demon powers when he's passionate, because it seems like when demon mode is activated, he's extremely calm. Like, he has demon mode on, he's got San on his back after the Irontown incident, and that lady's like, "Put her down or I'll shoot you." And he just, like, stone-faced turns around and walks away. Uh, and he's like, "Oh, I got in through this gate. I'm gonna get out through this gate." And he just pushes it open. Like, he's so cold-faced, stoic, awesome when
So
he has
good.
demon powers.
Mm-hmm.
But here's how about because I see what you're saying. He doesn't really go super hard after that, really. He does like a little bit of fighting in the big war against some of Jigo's guys, but that's about it. But maybe he starts out not being able to control the curse, right? So in that first initial fight against the samurai, like the first fight against the samurai while he's just riding through the countryside,
Mm-hmm.
bam, tentacle whip mode, right? She just doesn't know how to control it, goes berserk. And through, some rising plot magic and development with San, blah, 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 he learns. So it's like a reverse. It's like a power down. Like he learns how to control it, I don't know. I'm just trying to find some way to include what I so dearly wanted to see.
which is
Honestly, you know
tentacle whip.
what would have been cool when what's the pig's name? Okoto?
Yeah.
Like if he would have
Sure.
gone demon mode to try to rip Okoto apart, that would have been
Ooh,
enjoyable
dude.
for me.
Ashitaka,
Oh.
demon arm Ashitaka versus demoned out Okoto. Final
That-
fight.
All right, you guys have sold me.
Final
You've
fight.
100%
See, thank
sold me.
you.
Right, because I thought they were gearing up to have Okoto be like the final like versus,
Yeah, the big boss.
and then it kind of wasn't. And like from that point on, from like the confrontation with Okoto onwards, was where I started to be just like, whoa, what is happening? Because the night spirit the forest spirit turns into the night walker, and the wolf head chomps Lady Eboshi's arm off, and now Jigo's like it just got a little bit much for me all at once. I was like,
Because a wolf
whoa.
can still bite after death or whatever.
I
Yes.
know the
A
check
head can still bite after it's cut off. That was a good callback.
That
I was
was.
like, you deserve that one.
I was like, you know what? This is dumb, but I'll take it. Right?
Well, because they
I'll
needed
take
to do it. If they didn't say that line, I would have been like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Right?
You know,
The way it like shimmies, I was like, oh no.
I know.
Like a little well, like that whole scene, like the shimmying reminds me of how all of the dudes in the boar skin are like shimmying along
Oh,
next to
jeez.
Okoto is his name.
Yeah.
Like Okoto's character in that moment where he's like, my warriors, they've returned from the land of the dead. That was so powerful to me, and I don't even really know
Yeah.
why. Like, it was just so badass that like this guy's like, my army of dead is here. Let's go fight all the humans again.
But it was
And he's bleeding out of
sad.
his mind. Yeah, it was like really depressing too.
because they're
They just got
like
wrecked.
because there's they're not his, like I think it's sort of like the whole there's something sad about seeing. It's like, the humans are absolutely gonna stomp in any of these like nature or native versus like, okay, listen, we can all be like real here and say that like this is sort of a colonizer kind of thing, right? These guys are colonizing nature, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
In any of these things where the people with the technology are gonna win, it's so sad. It's just so sad because they don't stand a chance. Like nature, like you said, Charlie, nature lost like easy. The boars got blown up with grenades and mines, right? It's just
Oh,
not even
jeez.
close. So when you see Okoto, like what he thinks is like, oh, this crazy 11th hour turnaround and his warriors come back.
Can you hear him?
No, he went into the. Okay, I thought it was me. He went into the void.
Jamothy,
Oh, he just dropped. James?
you back?
What happened?
I don't know, man.
We have no
Computer just turned off.
idea. Wow.
The last thing we heard was crazy 11th hour turnaround.
Oh no.
Did you say a lot after that?
Not very much. I'm just confused. What happened? Why
Did you unplug something?
Maybe I might have like accidentally hit the.
Because you seem very passionate, so I was wondering if you were gesticulating and.
I'm looking around. Everything seems to be in order. Foiled again. All right.
Foiled again.
So you got this crazy 11th hour thing where all the dead boars come back. And it's really sad because they're not the dead boars coming back. It's the humans, bastardizing nature to the point that they are using animal skins. It's just such a not cool move. It's the very not Cash Money thing to do, right? And it's sad. It's so sad seeing dang, you got played hard, Akoto. Not to mention, all right, this has nothing to do with the point. The Akoto has such a gross old design. His eye goop. Y'all see?
I hate
Oh,
the
yeah.
eye goop.
I
Why can't anyone swipe it away from him?
I know.
Just
I know.
I wanted
Get
to
in
reach
there.
yeah.
Come on, come on, San.
But
Just
overall,
take your thumb.
the designs in this movie were great overall, though.
Mhm.
I thought the demon designs were really, really cool. I thought Ashitaka's combat getup with the straw cloak and the red hood was really cool.
Yes.
Hot.
I
Yeah.
know. San's wolf cloak and the mask was really it's just all really cool.
Okay, here's the thing I realized about Sod's wolf cloak. She had to kill her brother to be able to wear that. Think about
Oh,
it.
shoot.
She doesn't wear fur, or she doesn't grow fur. There had to be a dead wolf. They had to skin that dead wolf,
Yeah.
and then now she's wearing its skin.
I feel like
Aw.
Moro would be I know about it too. I don't even
Probably.
think Mama Wolf would be pressed.
Mama Wolf seems the wolf tribe is very interesting because it seems they're on team nature, but it really seems like they're only looking out for themselves over they're not really where the apes and the boars are kind of very gung-ho we're gonna kill the humans, blah blah blah, death to all humans. The wolves are kind of let's just see what happens. Maybe we don't kill Ashitaka. Maybe we just kind of see what happens here. I just thought the wolves were a very interesting kind of third party player.
It's probably because their princess is a
Yeah.
human.
Yeah,
True.
I feel like they
Fair
function in a
enough.
lot more of the gray area of knowing that humans are just gonna come back, which is what Moro said. It's oh, well, there's humans everywhere. Go kill them in your
Yeah.
forest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Are there more forests than just that one in this universe? Why
Maybe-
can't they move?
Why can't Irontown move, or why can't the forest spirits move?
Why can't the forest spirits move? Just straight up.
Maybe they're
Go and
kind of spirit bound to that forest.
Maybe.
Heathered.
That's kind of how spirits work. I feel like
Heathered?
Yeah, tethered.
Oh, I thought you said heathered and it was a reference to the Conan Gray song. I was like, what are you talking about?
See, when I hear Heather, I can't tell if I'm supposed to think of the I don't know if I'm supposed to think of the song or the Winona Ryder movie. Or the
Oh, I
musical
love
adaptation of the
Heathers.
Winona Ryder music.
No, I'm just thinking of
Again, love
Ashitaka being
that.
why don't you
Don't you
ever
ever
kiss? And it's about
kiss
Princess
me?
Mononoke, and she's like, well, you're a human, duh.
You're a
Oh,
human.
I wanted to say I really liked how it's not just the end of the movie isn't okay, San, let's go live with the humans now. Life is great and I love to be human. It's no. San was I can't forgive the humans. And Ashitaka says, yeah. I mean, I get it. Fair enough. Fair enough. I get that.
Fair enough.
I think they did a good job of resolving this movie in a way where nothing felt too contrived except for Jigo. And nothing felt too these are the bad guys, they get punishment, and these are the good guys, they get praise. It was Lady Eboshi, not all bad after all. We're gonna try Irontown again. And San goes back to her life in the forest because it's, she can't, naturally, she can't forgive the humans. I mean, humans didn't do anything to really redeem themselves, right? San has no reason to
That's
like them at
facts.
this point. And Ashitaka and San have their little cute romance that will hopefully blossom and bloom.
Yes.
think
Him
this
be
was-
I'll come and visit you.
I know.
Adorable. So adorable.
So good.
Forest GF. I
The
think
forest. Yeah.
No,
This
I
is-
swear I have a girlfriend. She lives in the forest.
this is interesting because I think this is one of the first Ghibli movies we've watched, at least, where there's a very direct romance. There I mean, there's the cute little like there's Satsuki and the neighbor boy in Totoro, but that's not really like that's more of just by the end of the movie they're like friends. There's not
Like friends.
romance
They can
is not the
stand each
point.
other.
Yeah, romance isn't the point. Like romance wasn't the point of Spirited Away. I mean, you know, the only other Ghibli movie that I can think of right now with like a romance as a big focal point is like Howl's Moving Castle. You know, even
Oh,
yeah.
I want to watch that one.
Yeah, never seen it.
Oh,
so.
it's a good one. But I think Princess Mononoke, and even for this big epic tale, like romance is not the focal point. I don't think I think that's interesting that Ghibli is never like romance is never the front and center thing going on, you know? There's always
Well,
something bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they're so great, is because their entire filmography is about love and the different ways that it shows up. And they very rarely touch on the most stereotypical kind, which is romantic.
Yeah.
A lot of it is familial, a lot of it is appreciation for the world around you. Like, they attack the concept of love in such, not like, you know, a negative connotation,
Bash
but
it.
they're like, screw romance, it's all dead. Forrest
Yeah.
GF, they're not even gonna kiss at the end. No.
True.
Like,
No kiss for Ashitaka.
really disappointed in that, by the way. I would have liked an Ashitaka kiss.
I would have, or at least
Ashitaka's just a man.
Ashitaka is respectful. He would never.
He drinks I respect women juice.
Literally studies the blade. No way he's gonna, you know.
I know. While
Go
you
for
were
it,
out
yeah.
getting a girlfriend, I studied the blade.
I
Studied the-
studied the blade.
But yeah, like, and I think that this movie, James, you're totally right. It's about, you know, love of nature, love of sort of community, because you see that in stuff like Irontown, where everybody's trying to work together and sort of bring up the dregs of society. Everyone gets together, makes their own destiny. It's about that sort of communal love, and then how two communities who love each other can hate, you know, different communities so very much. So good on Studio Ghibli for not being stereotypical.
Yeah, and very
Yeah.
cool of Lady Eboshi to give the lepers something to do. I thought that was like, that was the big moment where I was like, okay, so she's not going to be like, what I thought was going to happen as soon as we got into Irontown, I was like, okay, Ashitaka's going to do something here that they don't like, and Irontown is going to be the bad guys for the rest of the movie. But no, it was like, oh, wait. Like, yeah, Lady Eboshi was like a conquistador who, you know, who's trying to take over the forest, but she also like gives jobs to the lepers and is like, you know, has this team of like these capable women and is, you know, willing to change her ways in the end. Like, I'm glad Lady Eboshi was not a one-note antagonist. I think
Yeah.
this plot was pretty nuanced.
Plus her kimono pants. 10 out of
Her
10.
hat. Did you guys see the red hat or whatever she was
Yes.
wearing?
She was serving look after look.
Yes. No, I entirely. I have two questions about the lepers, by the way. Number one, why is every leper in this universe the best engineer known to man? Number two, why is leprosy contagious?
Yes.
Or is it
very,
Yes.
very much so?
Very contagious.
so it's just fine that they're fighting together?
The lepers can fight with one another, yes.
But they were fighting with some of the women, I thought.
No, they were in the only time we saw a leper fight was like a little slot in the wall opened up and he poked a gun
Mhm.
out. The lepers, I think, were.
I remember what Charlie's saying. There was a
Oh,
leper
really?
on, yeah, with the Toki.
Yeah.
There
on
was?
top of the
oh,
wall.
Maybe they got over it. I think Desperate Times call for desperate measures.
Leprosy gone.
No, I
guns aimed.
People got over their leper phobia, you know.
Oh gosh.
Desperate
You
times
you
call for
get
desperate
leprosy from interacting with lepers, though. That's like, it's not leperphobia.
measures. COVID phobia.
You leperphobic.
No. That's what the L in LGBT stands for, is leper.
No. I've had enough. This
The
has been an
slan-
episode of
Day after day, the slander continues. That's
Not
an
the
audio bite.
lepers.
I would get us canceled if that was an audio bite.
No, surely
No.
not. But okay,
And
so
the
that
G
answers
stands
question two.
wait. And the G stands for Ghibli.
Oh my god, wait.
True.
So now we can add the next film theory to every Ghibli movie. LGBT. You can find acronyms within the movie itself.
And the B stands for Bononoke.
Mononoke. Stands for bathhouse.
Oh, Spirited Away.
There we go.
The T stands
Okay.
for Totoro.
Oh my
Oh
god.
wow.
Dang. And, you know, for some people, that's where the acronym ends. So maybe we should not. not
And the
push our
plus
luck.
is everything
The
else.
plus is the rest of the movies.
Oh my
my
gosh, guys, we've done
gosh.
it.
We've
We've
done
actually
it.
done it.
I know. 7 deadly.
Stand aside.
Stand aside. 7 deadly.
Seven
sins.
deadly sins, 4 fantastic letters.
Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh.
I think
God.
that's gonna be our new thing: is find the LGBT and
Bro, I'm so down.
spot an LGBT in each movie.
Eboshi, prove me wrong.
Yes.
You know
No, I was
what?
about to say, I think I might get this right, Kasey. Tell me if I'm wrong or right. Strong bi energy.
Yes. Yes.
Finally, third time's the charm, baby. Let's go.
Charlie keeps trying.
Yes.
You're winning approval, Charlie.
I've done it. Well, because
Charlie's
like
making points.
I'm just very bad at telling if somebody is bi or gay or straight. I just think everyone's chill. I'm just like, oh, everyone's like neutral, and that doesn't
What's
mean
your-
anything.
What's
they're
your
just
gender
neutral.
expression? I'm chill.
Yeah, no, literally. Like
Right.
I'm the biggest himbo in that regard.
Labels are a scam. They're
They
Labels
are.
really are a
Labels
scam.
are such a scam. Just like take a soul and just live, bro. Right. Find your spark.
Find your spark.
Okay.
Stop.
Where are we going, guys?
Oh wow.
Joe Hisaishi delivers once again with the banging soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
At some point I can only hear like they all start to sound the same. It's like this definitely was in Spirited Away too, right? You know, but
Mhm.
it was banging nonetheless. It's always hits. Joe Hisaishi never misses, you know.
Oh, now you're reminding me of that TikTok.
The TikTok?
It's Joe Hisaishi, but it's I guess I never miss, huh? It's that one.
No.
No.
Oh,
No.
we're not
We're
gonna
not
go
gonna
there.
do that.
You know, I deleted TikTok right before, you know, today I deleted TikTok.
Oh, is this your
perfect.
Lent thing? Is Lent around yet?
Lent is not till like March.
Gotcha.
My attention span has been reduced to goldfish level, and I waste too much time on TikTok. So I deleted it. We'll see if that improves things for me, because I'm really tired of not being able to think about one thing for more than like a minute, you know?
Maybe that's
Yeah.
what Ashitaka was fighting against. Maybe he foresaw TikTok and was like, if we keep progressing as an iron society,
dude,
eventually TikTok will come around.
this whole movie is and prime coding, right? The Industrial Revolution and its consequences
Stop.
have been a disaster.
Stop.
Iron Town and its consequences have been a disaster.
This was our warning.
Yeah. I buy it, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I think Princess Mononoke is a movie that kind of speaks for itself a little bit, you know? I think you just got to watch it, write down all the factions, repeat to yourself what each character's motivation is so that you can understand the third act. Because, I mean, it's confusing. Like, everyone's motives are very similar, but, like, they're doing the same thing, but for different reasons, you know? So
Yeah.
it's hard to keep track of. But
If you took a push, I feel like you're able to keep it all straight in your head, though.
right, it's like it's not more complicated than why each country got involved in World War One. It's like roughly equivalent, I'd say. So if you can keep track of one, you can keep track of the other.
You've just said that a college level course is about just as hard to understand as this movie. But still, it's self-explanatory movie, really.
Speaks for itself in feeling. I mean, yeah, emotionally.
Ooh la la.
Yeah.
Okay. Question.
Yeah.
Would you guys say yes to the black goo arm? Would you take the poison devil arm
No.
for your own? I'm doing.
I would
You
say
could
no.
I would.
decapitate people though.
But I don't need to do that very much in my day to day.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, I feel like
Charlie is a hit man.
I mean, this movie only takes place over a couple days, and he was like
Dying.
It's bread, man. I'm gonna say nah to the devil arm curse.
But what if it only spread that fast because he kept using it?
But here's the thing: there's not even cool Venom tentacle arm powers, so I don't really want it.
Okay, no, but benefits. Number 1, you get to go on a forest adventure. You're like mandated, like you can get work time off for that. You could say this is a medical forest adventure.
This is a medical forest.
Because I need to
I
go
don't know
cure
where
my
you
thing.
work, Charlie.
Number 2, Number 2, you can murder people very easily if you need to. It like if someone's about to mug you in an alleyway, get a bow and arrow and just like chop their arms off. Like, perfect.
With the force behind those arrows, I feel like I could throw a pebble and it would like cleave them.
Yeah, perfect. I don't see any negatives. Number 3, you get to meet a wolf girl at some point in the story. So I don't see any negatives to getting a poison.
You're
devil
not
arm.
asking if we want the devil arm. You're asking if you want to be Ashitaka.
Ashitaka.
The devil arm is Ashitaka at the core of it.
That's his
Inseparable.
only-
I thought it was interesting that he still had a little bit of the mark on his arm at the end of the movie.
My
Oh,
point
yes.
exactly.
Like, how is that your? How?
Ashitaka is the devil arm. His character was defined by
Every time someone's just, so sometimes you just say things to keep audio coming. Like my point exactly. I'm just gonna start calling people on it, being like, how? Or when someone's like, I could think of 10, like a million times in this movie where this happens. I'd be like, oh yeah, name 2. I'm just gonna start calling people.
To be fair, that does happen, but it is true. Like if somebody says this happened 20 times in a movie, I could only name 2, but it probably did happen more than that.
I see what you're saying, but I just we've progressed past the need for filler words. Like if you need to fill time, I would just say I say or I don't know, yeah. Right. I have filler words I say. But if you make a claim in your filler word, I'm gonna call you on it. My filler word is a thesis.
I feel attacked
I
for
can't.
no good reason.
I
It's
can't.
not you. It's not.
You don't have to comment him like that.
You just called me out on it. What do you mean? It's not me.
How is it? Yeah, how is it your point? All right, you don't know.
I despise. I can feel my devil arm growing.
So, how long is it going to be till we do another Ghiblinity Stone? Because it was like a year and a half between the first 2, and
It really
it
was.
3 months before this one again.
I just want to do more Ghibli. I love Ghibli. I'll keep watching anything.
Yeah,
I feel my powers growing.
I know. We added another, drop the stone into the gauntlet, and it magnet whizzes into place. That was so satisfying in Infinity War.
No, it really was.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get, once we get all of them, then we'll get a Venom tentacle arm.
Venom arm, yeah.
Right. We will accept fan art of the Ghiblinity Stones and all of us having that
yeah.
on our fists. By
Yeah,
the way,
but you just have to guess what we look like, because unless you followed our Instagram on the one off day, a year, 2 years ago, when we had ourselves on our Instagram.
I think
at
we've
one point,
just had Charlie on our
well, we had a
Instagram.
Charlie birthday post and a Hallie birthday post back in the day, but I think we've had we
Yes.
were all on our stories at one point.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe
The OGs remember.
we were gonna we toyed with doing a 5K face reveal, but then before we could decide, we were already at 10K, and it just kind of fell through. So thanks for 10K.
Yeah.
Thanks for 10K.
10K.
Hey, get us to 25 and we'll consider it.
Okay, but wouldn't you guys be really interested in what people think we look like? Do people think I look like a Weasley, 5'4", skinny dude? I mean, that sort of is what I look like, but
I know, he's saying that to throw you off.
To throw you off. He's actually beefed and 6'2".
Yes.
Is he?
Yes, thank you, Kasey. 100% correct. Yes.
No, wait. We'll just do a dream thing, and we just never reveal, and people.
We reveal
like
our
that.
neck.
Reveal, corpse hand reveal.
Did he do a hand reveal?
Yeah, and everyone freaked out about it. Oh my gosh.
At
Corpse.
50K, I will do a knee reveal.
Ear reveal.
Just the cap. Just the knee cap.
No cap. No cap. I will show the cap.
Elbow reveal. It's just the nasty ashy elbow skin on the end.
No, it's just Ashitaka's
Not
arm
me.
just, mangled by the
Okay.
virus.
Let us know if you want a face reveal, guys. But thanks for listening to another episode of the Socratic Cinema Podcast. It was a nice day today. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. And be sure to like and comment and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And let us know what you think about Princess Mononoke and whether or not you think having a gooey devil arm attack would have been a good idea. follow us on Spotify and leave us our 5-star rating. Thanks for listening. We've been talking about Princess Mononoke. Which Ghiblinity Stone should we get next? You decide. Thanks again for listening, everyone, and we have been Socratic Cinema. Sayonara.
Adios.
Adios.